restored, rejuvenated, and energized the next day. And at this point, I'm not sure why I'm still whispering, but I think step number one, let's get up. Catch you out there.
Yo, yo, yo! What is up? Welcome back to another week of How to Help. My name is Kevin. I run liftandbalance.com, where we take aim at all things health and do it in an odd, weird, interesting, and highly sarcastic way. So, we're going to start this vid off hot and talk about one of the most unknown and powerful hacks to get good sleep each and every night. And wouldn't you know it? It starts in the morning. Waking up at the same time and having a solid morning routine. That's right, proper sleep hygiene starts in the morning. 16 or so hours before you even go to bed. That's why you want to get up and get alignment. Which is the first thing I do each and every day. Before I talk to anyone, before I log on, before I brush my teeth, I execute against my morning routine, which I break down in depth here. But essentially, it consists of nervous system activation, hydration, sunlight, movement, and a little bit of mindfulness. Over the course of this hour-and-a-half routine, I put myself in a good physiological and biochemical state to have a damn day. And I guess I could add the brushing of the teeth. We'll put that on the proposal board. Oh, and I forgot to tell you the best part. My connectivity to the outside world doesn't get turned on until I finish it. Wireless off, airplane mode on. So let's hop into one of the main aspects of that morning routine that help 16 hours later when we're trying to go to bed. Let me just grab my water and let's go outside, talk about why it's advantageous for your sleep to start your day out with a little morning light. So morning light helps align our internal body clock, aka our circadian rhythms, which we break down in a number of other videos, which I will all link below. Here's why that's important. When sunlight hits the photoreceptors in your eyes, it triggers a neural circuit that controls and regulates several genes and changes their expression. These environmental cues of light and darkness are key modulators, regulating several key hormones that impact sleep, such as cortisol and melatonin. You all heard of that sleep hormone, melatonin. Melatonin gummies? Yeah, we make it in-house. Thus, morning light is key for aligning these daily oscillations and setting up your biochemistry to be better optimized for sleep. And you know what? I think my coffee's probably getting cold inside. We better get back to it. Now, when it comes to society's favorite addiction that they don't want to call an addiction, caffeine, it's actually a double-edged sword. There are some real advantages to enjoying a cup of joe or some tea. There's the antioxidants, the phytonutrients, and yes, the caffeine. This stimulant not only gives you the obvious jolt of energy, but has been shown to be beneficial in supporting our blood-brain barrier, which is the tightly junctioned endothelial cells that regulate what gets in and out of our 5-pound mushy membrane. Kind of important. Now, this is what you need to understand, that other side of the sword of caffeine. Caffeine gives us that jolt, not by channeling some long-lost inner energy, but by blocking an internal compound called adenosine, which acts in our brain as our innate sleep pressure. As it builds, so does our sleepiness. And this accumulates in the brain throughout the day, making us less attentive along the way. You didn't know it. I'm a poet. Bam, bam. And here's what caffeine does. It binds to the same receptors as adenosine, blocking the signal of sleepiness. Temporarily, that is, which then the sleepiness comes back with a vengeance. At least you know what's happening now. This is one of the reasons why I finish all of my caffeine consumption at least 10 hours prior to bed. The two other are the fact that caffeine has been shown to impair both sleep onset and sleep quality. And although everyone's tolerance is a little bit different, and some people can just pass right out a second after finishing 2 cappuccinos, sleep quality, and thus your cellular and metabolic operations for the next day, can be impaired with late night caffeine. And you could always run your own experiment. A lot of these modern devices, watches, Fitbits, Oura Rings, Whoop bands, gives you a lot of sleep data. So if you got it, use it. And you know what? Gotta say, all this coffee talk, getting me a little hungry. Let's go peek the fridge. Oh, what's up? Yeah, pretty long walk from the fridge, huh? By now, you probably know that I like to eat early and in strategic feeding windows. But that doesn't mean you should, or that it's even necessary to get good sleep. But when it comes to sleep quality, meal timing is proving to matter. And if you're interested, I have several videos on how eating early has been a game changer for my sleep. All breaking down data from the good old Oura Ring. Now, why may this be the case, and why may meal timing actually matter as it pertains to sleep quality? Well, it's because digestion is a long and energy-consuming process. A process that has been shown to impair sleep quality. The restfulness, the rejuvenation, the detoxification, all of these key functions of sleep. And depending on the size of the meal, it's estimated that our digestive organs are typically active anywhere from 2 to 6 hours post-feeding. So even though I finish my eating by early afternoon, a good target to aim for to improve sleep quality is to finish that last meal of the day around 3 hours prior to bedtime. This will give some time for your digestive system to do its thing so you and your body can do your thing during sleep. The fridge is getting a little cold here, and I'm surprised it's not yelling at me. Let's go warm up for our next one. Heating it up, sauna and red light, 4 hours before bed. I bet you didn't think I literally meant it. Anywho, this one is a new one for me. About 4 hours prior to bed, I've been hopping in the sauna for a 20 to 30 minute session. And interestingly, immediately after I implemented this habit, I saw improvement in 2 big sleep stats: low resting heart rate and heart rate variability, which are 2 assays for the parasympathetic rest and digest nervous system and recovery in general. Now, there may be and probably are a number of different underlying mechanisms at play here, but I suspect the major driver is its effect it has on my core body temperature. And it's important to know, for optimal sleep and sleep onset, we need our core body temperature to decrease. We want heat to dissipate to the outskirts of our body. And post-sauna, that's exactly what happens. For those 3 hours between getting out of the sauna and going to bed, my body's core temperature becomes optimized for sleep. And you can't forget how straight up relaxing the sauna is too. Can't hurt. I have also been adding some red light photomodulation to align my circadian rhythms for evening, because naturally red light is much more prevalent in the evening as the sun angles get sharper and longer along the horizon. So just like morning blue light from the sun can help align your circadian rhythms for the day, evening red light can do the same thing for the evening. And if you don't have access to a sauna, a warm or even cold shower or bath can stimulate the same effect. And 5 to 10 minutes outside in the amber evening light can take care of the evening circadian rhythm alignment. Oh yeah, and before we close this section on getting hot, you look good by the way, a quick note on exercise. It's awesome, but when performed too close to bedtime, it can actually impair sleep quality. So if possible, try to finish getting your sweat on 2 to 3 hours before you go night-night. And finally, it is time for the home stretch, and the portion you probably thought this whole video would be about. when you clicked on it. The last 2 hours. Welcome to the bedroom. Nothing cool goes on here, actually. Except sleep. I have a few specific things that I hone in on for that hour or two before bed. First, I limit the overhead light. This is because artificial blue light can actually trigger those photoreceptors in our eyes to thinking that it's light out in the environment, thus confusing our internal body clock and potentially delaying the secretion of that oh so critical sleep hormone, melatonin. Yeah, we don't want that. So for my lighting at night, I opt for warmer red light and stick to lamps and table lights as much as possible. And to hedge my bets, I pop these snazzy blue light blockers on about 2 hours before bed. Especially when I'm working with those pesky blue light emitting electronic devices, like the one you're on now. Good news is, many of these devices have nighttime settings that automatically warm the screen, so you don't have to. And speaking of tech, I do my very best to disconnect from the interwebs around 1 hour to 45 minutes before hitting the hay. And if we're being honest, which I always try to do, a lot of times this shrinks to about 30 minutes. It's that damn TikTok machine. I don't know if I'm allowed to say that on YouTube. This means computer off, phone on airplane mode, no TV, just decompress time. Because scrolling feeds, news, social media, and gaming, whether you know it or not, is psychologically and emotionally stressing. And for those nights that I have those devices up right up until bedtime, I can feel it. And I can see it in the sleep data, and sleep onset all of a sudden becomes a much bigger pain in my badonkadonk ass. So a tech-free final hour or half an hour has worked very well for me. And yes, I know, it is hard. So take your time and ease into it. Shave about 5 minutes off each week or each month as you get to that goal. Your body will thank you. You can always do what I do. Throw it on airplane mode. Problem solved. Finally, one of the last things that I do is keep the windows open up until bedtime to get the room nice and cool. All to regulate that core body temperature to optimize sleep onset and sleep quality. And I get it. Everyone's a little different when it comes to this. Some people like to freeze and use blankets, while others like it warm and toasty. Room temperature does happen to matter, and better sleep quality has been associated with a room temperature from 63 to 68 degrees Fahrenheit. Just another simple metric to track. And that's what we got. This routine has me sleeping like a literal baby. Consistently waking up, feeling refreshed, restored, rejuvenated, and energized every single damn day. So let me know what your top sleep hacks are down in the comments below. And remember, in this modern world, good sleep doesn't just happen. In fact, modern day societal norms stack the odds against you. But all that means is you just gotta take back ownership and make it happen. I mean, we do spend 1/3 of our life doing it. Might as well do it well. Speaking of that, I think it's time to go night-night.
Just wanna